to Las Vegas, where college basketball and two top 15 teams will take center stage today. A sold-out crowd on hand as UNLV welcomes San Diego State for a battle for the top spot in the Mountain West Conference. The last four meetings between these two teams have gone right down to the wire. The conference opener this season in San Diego was no exception. Jamal Franklin, after he returned from injury, hit the game winner for the Aztecs in the final seconds. The rematch is next. The UNLV Running Rebels have not lost at home this season. However, they've dropped 6 consecutive games to the San Diego State Aztecs. The battle for the top spot of the Mountain West Conference here today at the Thomas & Mack Center. Thank you for being with us, Paul Burmeister, alongside Blaine Fowler. The conference tournament championship will take place on this court exactly in 1 month. Certainly a championship feel here today.
Oh, it absolutely is. And in this conference, if you're going to win a championship, you must defend your home court. San Diego State did that in the first meeting. It's on UNLV to win this one. And that #1 seed in the tournament is so important because the top 3 teams in this league are all very, very good.
Arguably the 2 best teams in the Mountain West Conference, so no surprise, a couple of individuals battling for the right to be called the best players in this conference.
Yeah, no question. In the first meeting, these guys weren't really the story, but they need to be this afternoon. They're the leaders of their team, and they don't just score. Mosier leads the league in rebounds. Tapley leads the league in steals. The guy that plays better in this one this afternoon likely to lead his team to victory.
Look back 1 month, January. The conference opener in San Diego was outstanding. Came down to the final moments. Jamal Franklin got it done at the buzzer. What will happen today in Vegas? Find out next. We are ready for the most anticipated regular season game here at the Thomas & Mack Center in Vegas in over a decade. Sold out 2 days prior to the game. That hasn't happened in 20 years. Let's take a look at our eharmony.com starting lineups for San Diego State. Jamal Franklin, the leading scorer in the Mountain West Conference, the only player in this conference in the top 3 in scoring and rebounding. As for the home team, the UNLV Rebels, Mike Moser, number 43, is the star, leads the conference in rebounding. Also, Blaine, number 3 in the nation in that category.
Yeah, he is a rebounding machine, and he'll need to do that this afternoon to have a chance against San Diego State. Both teams very long, very athletic.
San Diego State number 1 in the conference in terms of the standings, at UNLV leading the conference in scoring at 80 points per game. We also have 4 of the 5 top scorers in this conference on the court today. Tim Shelton comes down with an 18,500 ready for the Rebels and the Aztecs.
And UNLV will be much more aware of number 11, Rayhan, in this game. He really lit him up in the last meeting.
Jamal Franklin, leading scorer in this conference, has the first 2 of the game.
Franklin had 24 points in that first meeting, and none more important than the game-winning shot in the lane as time was about to expire. And those 2 are the big names in that first game. Rayhan and Franklin carried him to victory.
Chase Stanback misfires. Xavier Thames for the Aztecs. Thames inside to Shelton, up and in, and San Diego State up by 4.
Beautiful decision-making by Thames, and Steve Fisher has told me over and over again how impressed he is with his ability to make decisions in their offense. And great pass that time to Tim Shelton and the assist to Thames.
Bryce Masamba, all by himself just above the free throw line. Friendly bounce, and the Rebels are on the board.
Samba doesn't take very many bad shots, 65% from the field, and if he's knocking down 15-footers, well, that really helps UNLV because he can stretch that defense a little bit.
Here's Chase Tapley with his first shot. That's short. Here comes Anthony Marshall. Kicks it out to Mosier. James Rayhan with the dribble and the dish off back to Xavier Thames. Thames for three. Standback pulls it down. Rebels trailing by 2. Anthony Marshall. Jamal Franklin, leading rebounder on this team, brings it up himself. Both teams misfiring.
And not great shots. Here's a better shot by Mosier in transition, but we've seen a lot of shots early in this ballgame already, Paul, off the dribble, not in the normal part of their offense. Both coaches like that in transition. They don't mind a three-pointer in transition, but they don't want guys dribbling into threes.
Mosier once again. UNLV started out the game against San Diego State in San Diego last month, 3 for 22, and again today having a hard time finding the net.
And I thought that crowd at Viejas definitely got to this UNLV team early in that ball game, and they did not shoot the ball well at all.
Chase Tapley off the dribble. And the penetration to the hoop. The nice dish to Shelton, up and in. He has 4. And San Diego State leads by 4.
We get unselfish play by the guards for San Diego State. Tapley passed up a good shot for a better shot for Tim Shelton.
Bryce Masamba putting that shoulder down. Mosier looking for his first basket. Can't find it. Tim Shelton comes down with it, and back come the Aztecs.
Mosier was 3 of 11 in that first meeting. He rebounded the ball well, had 12 rebounds, but just 9 points, and they need a better effort out of him if they're going to have a chance to win at home here in the Thomas and Mack.
Tim Shelton with it inside, guarded by Bryce Masamba. Kicks it out, steal by the Rebels. Oscar Belfield with the ball.
Well, you see San Diego State get back. On a steal, they had four dark shirts back, and Belfield goes ahead and knocks down the 3 this time. San Diego State, good in transition defense. They know that's going to be important. If Oscar Belfield can shoot the ball well, that's a huge bonus for UNLV. He struggled 1 for 12 in the first meeting between these two teams.
Belfield leads the Mountain West Conference in assists. Has a 3-pointer there, and UNLV now trails by 1. James Rahan off the dribble, back to Shelton. Mike Mosier with the steal. They give the stand back to Mosier. Tim Shelton with the hustle and the rebound, and here's James Rahan.
And for San Diego State, Steve Fisher stepping out and saying, hey, settle down, half-court offense, take care of the basketball. That will be probably the single most important key, is not to allow UNLV to get steals and then runouts on the other end in fast break offense.
Chase Tapley inside to Franklin. Kicks it out to Thames. The dribble penetration. He kicks it out to Rahan. Pull-up jumper, James Rahan. Aztecs leading 8-5 inside 15 minutes now. Oscar Belfield again, misfires. Jamal Franklin kicks it up to Rahan. Xavier Thames, 2 points Aztecs.
I've really been impressed with the unselfish play of San Diego State early in this ball game. The extra pass, that time ball movement around the outside. They're getting good shots, knocking those shots down because of that unselfish play.
Unselfish play. I've heard you say unselfish a couple of times here, Blaine. Good passes, patient offense here by the Aztecs.
And here's just a minute ago, Jamal Franklin inside, and he finds a wide open guy. Now here's the drive. You draw that defense. The ball gets kicked back. Look at that ball movement, the unselfish play, and finally you get a wide open shot. And here's the last time down the floor. Rahan with the penetration. The defense collapses, kicks it out. The touch pass. Well, and when you're moving the basketball like that, guys sitting out there ready to shoot, Unselfish play has been the difference early in this ball game.
And I shorted Xavier a point. Let's give him 3 for that.
Absolutely.
Let's give the Aztecs a 6-point lead.
Dave Rice takes an early timeout here and not happy with the effort defensively, and certainly not happy with the shot selection on the other end.
Mike Mosier, the leading scorer for UNLV, shooting 47% coming in, is 0 for 5 right now. Also, not a rebound yet. This is Bryce Masamba. Justin Hawkins in for the first time. Stand back inside to Masamba, and he is fouled by Garrett Green. Speaking of in for the first time, Green's first appearance. San Diego State with one victory already over UNLV and an early 6-point lead. San Diego State Aztecs good 5 out of 8 from the field and leading 11-5. 14:03 left here at the Thomas and Mack Center. Steve Fisher, 21st season as a head coach, his 13th at San Diego State. How about this, Blaine? 54-6 since the start of last season. What a program he has built in San Diego.
Well, and this may be his best coaching effort at San Diego State. 4 tremendous starters that he lost, and everybody thought that they were off the radar, and he's done a terrific job. I think he's the leader in the clubhouse for Coach of the Year right now.
And really, they had to rebuild the offense because of a different kind of lineup. They were long and athletic this last year, and now they just have 4 guards and 1 post player. Anthony Marshall inside, kicking it outside to Hawkins for 3. Got it.
Boy, and you almost feel a sigh of relief from this Rebel basketball team as Hawkins knocks down a 3. They just have been struggling to hit shots here early.
UNLV right now just 3 for 11. That includes the Hawkins 3 moments ago. Garrett Green, the transfer out of LSU. After 3 seasons in Baton Rouge, kicking it out to Jamal Franklin.
And you saw the human highlight film right there at the end after the foul was called. Green moving on the screen. He came out to set the high ball screen at the top of the key. Staple of San Diego State's offense, but Green needs to stay stationary and let Franklin run his man off the screen. He moved and he picks up the foul.
San Diego State is led from the start right now, leading by 3, 11-8. Aztecs currently with a 1-game lead over UNLV in the Mountain West Conference as this game kicks off the second half of the Mountain West Conference season. Anthony Marshall for 3. Jamal Franklin had his hands on it. Moser, the leading rebounder in the conference, comes up with it. Moser yet to score. There's his first 2.
And I like that he attacked. Instead of settling for the jump shot, he had a jump shot, but he took it off the bounce. He got closer in. That's what UNLV needs to do right now, not settle for jumpers when they're not falling.
James Rahan with the pull-up. Belfield got a piece of it. Here comes Moser. 2 more points. UNLV and the first lead of the game for the Rebels. Oscar Belfield with the deuce.
How many 6'8" forwards can do what you just saw Mike Moser do? That's what makes him so dangerous. He can get the rebound and lead the break all the way down the floor.
Aztecs now at the offensive end for the first time of this game, trailing 12-11 UNLV. Jamal Franklin for 3. Got it.
And Franklin has just been on a tear in conference play, averaging 18 points a game in conference games, and is just so comfortable, not just with his jump shot, but with taking off the bounce and attacking the rim.
Belfield to Hawkins. Penetrates. Now back with it, and here's Moser for 3. Xavier Thames. San Diego State up by 2. DeShawn Stevens now in the game and with the ball. UNLV defense comes through. This is Anthony Marshall. That's Mike Moser, and that's 2.
And what an adjustment by Moser. Rahan got back there quicker than he expected. He was able to avoid contact, and instead of throwing the ball down on a dunk, he laid it in with a finger roll. Good body control.
UNLV defense on a roll. Here's Anthony Marshall to the hoop. Look at the defense by Xavier Thames. Thames with the steal. Jamal Franklin misses, and here comes Hawkins. Belfield, 2 more.
Mike Mosier bringing his team back in this ball game with some big plays. He's playing defense, he's rebounding, he takes him off the dribble here. The little fadeaway in the key. And then Mike Mosier with a rebound and leading the break. A 6'8" point forward for the Rebels. He's got his team out in the lead here in a Thomas and Mack that is on its feet.
All-new 24/7 Sports Network. We welcome you to the NBC Sports Network. And we welcome you back to Las Vegas, the Thomas and Mack Center. 18,500 sold out to watch Dave Rice's UNLV Rebels come from behind so far on a 12-2 run right now and leading 16-14.
And Dave Rice doing a tremendous job of coming in. He inherited a team with a lot of talent, but to put all those egos together and have them functioning the way Dave Rice has done, he's a terrific manager of people and personalities. He's done a great job this season.
Oscar Belfield, the leading scorer for UNLV right now with 8. For San Diego State, Jamal Franklin leading the way with 5. LaBradford Franklin in for the first time handling the ball. This is Deshaun Stevens. That's Chase Tapley, and he's got it.
And Tapley will be an important part of this ball game before it's over. He's a leader. He's a guy that takes big shots for this team.
Justin Hawkins in and out. And there for the rebound is Tim Shelton. LaBradford Franklin kicking out to Shelton. He gives inside to Stevens. Up and in. New offensive weapon found by Steve Fisher.
And Deshaun Stevens, a guy that did not even play high school basketball, got cut as a senior from his high school team, but he grew 5 inches after that. And Steve Fisher said, yeah, we're always looking for really long athletic guys, whether they played high school basketball or not. And he's found a place via the JC route and doing a great job. What a raw talent he is.
Tim Shelton, the unselfish senior, kicking it back outside. Chase Tapley, the pull-up. Mountain West Conference second leading scorer on a bit of a roll, and San Diego State now leading by 3.
Well, and Tapley's been a little bit of a slump shooting the basketball. Not an awful slump, but a little off. And if he can get it going, San Diego State's a very dangerous team.
UNLV answers with 3.
Well, and Kendall Wallace, before his knee injury, he was instant offense off the bench for these Rebels. And he's a guy that, in the old days, a couple years ago, he'd come off and knock down 2 or 3 threes in a row.
Chase Tapley back with it, fielded it from way beyond the arc. And Carlos Lopez with his first rebound, stolen by Jamal Franklin. Franklin waiting for the rest of the Aztecs to come up. And another steal by the Rebels. Here comes Oscar Belfield. Behind the back, Quintrell Thomas. Offensive foul.
There's nobody in the league that does a better job of getting back on D and getting in position than Tim Shelton. Look at him here. He understands how to play position defense and take a charge. He was outside the restricted area under the basket in perfect position.
He's taken 24 charges now this season.
Yeah, he takes great pride in it. We talked to him a couple of weeks ago, and when I asked him about taking a charge, his face just lit up. He takes a tremendous amount of pride in that. And you look at this charges drawn this season. Look at Tim Shelton on the top of that list, but this San Diego State team taking 34 charges. That's position defense.
All tied at 20. Tapley to the hole. Pretty finger roll. San Diego State leading again by 2. Carlos Lopez inside the pivot. Draws a foul from Tapley. Chase Tapley hot on the offensive end. San Diego State back on top, leading it by 2. UNLV started out only 2 for 10. The Rebels fought their way back and now trailing only by 2, 22-20.
Well, and we talked about Dave Rice being a first-year coach, and he ranks right up there in the top 4 in the country, number 2. Steve Prohm, Murray State has things rolling there, and Dave Rice here at UNLV. Bryce Drew at Valparaiso, and then Manhattan having a terrific season this season, 17-9. But first-year coach, you look what Dave Rice has done, and I think Dave Rice is the only guy on that list that also has a win over the number 1 ranked team in the country at the time of that game. And he really has done a great job of putting his stamp on this team and playing his style of basketball, and these guys were all buying in.
Dave Rice in his first season, not only as a head coach here, but his first season ever as a head coach after 18 as an assistant, including 11 as an assistant here at UNLV.
Well, and the fans love his mindset. It's, hey, let's bring back the run and Rebels. And he wants this basketball team to push the ball and to score points. They're averaging 80 points a game. And fans in Vegas area love that.
Carlos Lopez, 2 for 2 from the line. He's the 6th UNLV player to score here today. Chase Tapley has scored the last 6 points for San Diego State. This is Jamal Franklin. Tapley with the ball now. UNLV defense, and perhaps nobody appreciates defense. I know Dave Rice likes it, but Jerry Tarkanian loves it.
Well, Jerry Tarkanian, of course, a legend here, and sitting courtside. He's always welcome here since it is Jerry Tarkanian court. he's always allowed to be right here at courtside, and Dave Rice played for Jerry Tarkanian on that national championship team and has a great appreciation for what Tark built here.
So you're saying they don't check his credential at the door?
No, he just walks in. He sits wherever he wants, and somebody else will have to find a seat somewhere else.
All tied at 22, 3 ties, 4 lead changes already. Carlos Lopez took an extra step. San Diego State gets it back.
UNLV, they play that 5 spot by committee right now. Lopez, Bryce Masamba, and they also play Quintrell Thomas, and they're all very different players. Lopez on the floor right now is a guy that gives you a more athletic look in there. Can put the ball on the floor and run the floor. And then Masamba and Thomas are both bangers inside.
Xavier Thames kicking it out to James Rahan. Rahan with 1 bucket here in the first half. Had him on the backdoor cut. Shelton didn't see him. Chase Tapley trying to create off the dribble. Jamal Franklin for 3.
Franklin is just feeling it, and he has been. Over the last 7 or 8 games, he's been on fire. And it's been mostly taking the ball to the basket, taking it off the dribble, but he's getting more and more comfortable with that jump shot as the season progresses as well.
Double-doubles in 7 of the last 10 games. Look at the pass inside. Anthony Marshall and Mike Mosier for the Rebel 2. Jamal Franklin fresh off the 3-pointer from the lane, and Carlos Lopez says not this time. Here comes Anthony Marshall. Thought he had Lopez. Tapley got a hand on it. Anthony Marshall kicking it out to Mosier. Lopez back to Mosier. Up and not in. Lopez almost had it. Xavier Thames secures it for San Diego State. Tim Shelton inside. Had 2 buckets early and took a couple too many steps there.
And there have been some great passes in this ball game. Anthony Marshall out on the top of the key. You have to have nonverbal communication. He knew exactly where Mike Mosier was going, and Marshall with the jet pass for the easy 2 and a great assist.
Mosier struggling from the field so far. Only 3 out of 10 as his Rebels trail by 1. 5:19 left in the first. Chase Stanback, fall away for 3. Tapley with a rebound. Jamal Franklin creating off the dribble and misfiring. Chase Stanback with a rebound to Anthony Marshall. 5-on-4 for the Rebels. Right back in Mike Mosier. If you're 3 for 10, go ahead and stuff it in.
My heavens, he almost hit his head on the rim that time, and that brought this building to its feet. The throwback follow-up.
Rebels back on top by 1 and 18,500 back in it. Xavier Thames answers, and San Diego State has the 1-point lead.
So far, everything we expected in this ball game. Two teams very athletic, up and down the floor, playing defense.
Rice Masamba trying to create against Tim Shelton. Traveled.
And here we go with the Mike Mosier follow-up. This guy's so athletic. Skies to the front of the rim. I love this angle.
Leads UNLV in scoring and rebounding, and number 1 in the Mountain West Conference in rebounding, number 3 in the nation in that category. First season playing at UNLV. Transfer from UCLA, sat out last year, and has been nothing short of a star so far this year.
He's been more demonstrative in this game than he was in that first meeting. He was just 3 of 11 in the entire ball game in that last meeting.
Chase Tapley. Mike Mosier got his hand on that one. Foul on San Diego State. Ball goes back to UNLV. San Diego State now has 8 turnovers on the game, and UNLV, half of that, only 4. Rebels coming into this game leading the Mountain West Conference in assist to turnover ratio. A little better than 1.5 to 1. Here's Anthony Marshall pulling up for 3. Well, Dave Rice told me yesterday he wants all of his players to be extremely confident that the shot they take is okay. Was this shot okay?
Well, when you're coming off of a ball screen and moving aside, that's a tough shot. And we're going to go back and look at Mosier one more time. One of the highlights of this ball game. A tight one as expected.
Coming up at halftime, U.S. Bank NBC Sports Report with Jimmy Roberts, college basketball and NHL highlights. Highlights and stats from across the college basketball country here on this Saturday on the U.S. Bank NBC Sports Report with Jimmy Roberts coming up at halftime. There is Mike Moser in the stands, looking imposing on the court today. Not quite as much, only 4 for 11 for 8 points.
We always talk about how long he is. He's not quite that long. That's a big dude up in the stands. And in this student section, I'm looking up, they've got all these big heads up in there, and I noticed they're all like Las Vegas icons. Greg Maddox is up there, and Don King is up there, and this is a great student section here in attendance at this ball game, the best I've seen in a long time for the Rebels.
Sold out during the week for the first time in over 20 years, 18,500. 27-26, Aztecs on top. Deshaun Stevens with the ball. This is LeBradford Franklin inside to Chase Tapley. Up. Good defense by the Rebels. Here comes Mike Moser. Moser kicks it out to Belfield. Rebels want so dearly to work that transition offense. Didn't have it. Showed some patience. Pulled it out. Inside of 20 now left in the shot clock. Anthony Marshall. Nice move inside.
What a great power move. Great drop step on the post-up to the baseline. He's a very strong player. Sometimes I think Anthony Marshall plays more like a strong safety than a guard, and that was a great power move there.
Rebels back on top by 1. Steal by Moser. Moser in all the way, tries to finish with the finger roll. Tim Shelton with a rebound, and here comes Chase Tapley. Tapley wanted to shoot. Justin Hawkins with his hands on it. And the Aztecs will hang on to it.
Let's go back down to Anthony Marshall, this time with his back to the basket. A real strong move where he uses that lower body strength. See how quick he turns to the baseline and powers that up on the glass. That was a move you see out of a power forward. And Marshall does a terrific job. When he gets a smaller player, less physical, they love to post him up.
After he went for 27 points, 9 assists, and 5 rebounds in January in a victory over TCU, Dave Rice said he was playing as well as any guard in the country. Mountain West Conference Player of the Week after that effort. Rebels leading by 1. Xavier Thames with the penetration, finds himself open. That's short, and here's Anthony Marshall with the rebound. Marshall to stand back for three.
And Standback is a guy that can make a huge difference for UNLV. San Diego State calls timeout. But in the first meeting, they did a great job, San Diego State did, of finding Standback and not giving him any open looks. So far in this ballgame, he has had no open looks. That's the first time they have left him alone out on the perimeter. And he's a guy that if you leave him alone, he will knock it down. Standback shooting 45% from that three-point line.
Had a good season from behind the arc. Been cold recently. Was 0 for 2 prior to that. Just 1 for 10 in the 3 games beyond the arc coming into this one. Mountain West Conference basketball is on the NBC Sports Network. Next Saturday at 4 o'clock, the Aztecs will look to stay on top of the Mountain West when they take on the Falcons. San Diego State Air Force next Saturday, 4 o'clock on the all-new NBC Sports Network. We'll see if San Diego State leaves this building on top, right now leading the Mountain West Conference by 1 game over UNLV and New Mexico.
Well, Wayne Newton in the house. I think that's a dot matrix, Mike Tyson.
Okay.
And it is actually fun to look up in there. They've got all the great Vegas icons, and there are many in the house tonight at the Thomas and Mack, or this afternoon at the Thomas and Mack.
UNLV enjoying its biggest lead of the game so far, leading by 4 as we approach the 2-minute mark.
I wouldn't be surprised if Greg Maddox actually is in the house. He's a big UNLV booster and lives here in Vegas, and he's usually at the big games.
Rebel defense strong there. Here's Chase Tapley for 3. Air ball. Jamal Franklin had a chance, but the rebound is Standback. And back come the Rebels. Mike Moser for 3. Got it.
When you see an NBA skill set in Mike Moser, he's a voracious rebounder. And then he can handle the ball out in the open court. He can shoot from 3. He's got a great skill set, and he's just going to get stronger.
UNLV now leading by 7. Jamal Franklin with the pull-up. Cuts the lead to 5.
And San Diego State needed some type of answer. This crowd was in a frenzy, and they needed to slow down that momentum at some point before they go into the locker room. That's a huge shot by Franklin.
Mike Moser a little hot with 11 points now after a tough start. That's Bryce Masamba inside, fouled by Jamal Franklin. And how often does the leading rebounder in a conference have the ability to do that and look good doing it?
Well, and I love how he stepped forward, stepped back to the three-point line, stayed in rhythm, and you can tell that both of these teams are playing with a tremendous amount of energy in this ball game. This game means a lot, and they know it.
Moser had it, gets a little closer, up and in. Mike Moser now has 13.
Well, and you see another part of the repertoire. Now, not only can he do a step-back 3, but he's got that little floater off the dribble, and he can finish at the rim, I assure you.
Moser averaging 14.5 points per game coming into this one, already has 13. Tim Shelton with it inside. Trying to work it up and in, and he was fouled by Bryce Masamba.
So we got to see Mike Moser knock down a 3. We saw him lead in a fast break. How about this? A little ball fake and then a floater with beautiful touch. He really does have every part of his game at a high level right now. And NBA scouts love his athleticism and his length.
Moser scoring 8 of UNLV's last 12 points. Tim Shelton trying to cut into that UNLV lead. It remains at 7. Tim Shelton, 4 knee surgeries later, carving out a niche role for himself here as a senior. 0 for 2 there. Bryce Masamba with the rebound.
Shelton struggled a little bit in conference shooting free throws. He's at 56% in conference play. He does everything else well. He is no question the leader, the guy that everyone looks to on that San Diego State team is for experience.
Inside at 10 now. Rebels can hold it for the last shot. Stand back to Marshall. Chase Tapley guarding a little bit too tight, called for the foul. 5 4.7 seconds remaining, and UNLV leading by 7.
Well, and that will put UNLV in the bonus, so they'll get a 1-on-1 here. 17 fouls now on San Diego State. You know, that's amazing. Only 2 team fouls on UNLV in that first half. I don't think I can remember a game in a long, long time that I've done where there only been 2 fouls on a team in the first half.
Especially a team that prides itself on such aggressive, tenacious defense.
Well, and they've created a lot of turnovers. They've been aggressive, but have been able to do it without fouling.
Anthony Marshall, good on the first. Rebels with their biggest lead of the half at 8, and with a chance to extend that to 9. Marshall 1 for 2.
The ball knocked out of bounds, and it will go back over to San Diego State.
Xavier Thames, 3 seconds left. Now that's a 3 if it counts.
Yeah, they're going to have to look at that one because that was very, very close. And I tried to see out of, with my peripheral vision whether the light on the backboard and the horn went off, but I couldn't tell.
Take another look here. Xavier Thames getting the ball and dribbling up in between the half-court line and the three-point line, pulls up. And you can see the red light is on while the ball is still in his hand. That
was, they'll wave that one off because he still had possession of it before, and that red light did go off.
Well, San Diego State coming in with a 1-game lead in the Mountain West Conference. Got off to a great start, leading 11-5 at one point. But Mike Moser and the Rebels bringing it back for 18,500 here at the Thomas and Mack Center. The Rebels on top at halftime, 37-29. Stay tuned for the U.S. Bank NBC Sports Report with Jimmy Roberts coming up on the other side of this break. 7 first-half lead changes later. UNLV leads by 8, 37-29. Well, back when UNLV's Mike Moser was only 3 for 10 and the Rebels were trailing in the first half, I didn't think he would be the lead story, but he did finish that first half very strong.
Well, he really came on strong in the last 10 minutes of that first half, and we're going to show you a little bit of everything from Mike Moser because he's got such a complete game. 13 points, 4 rebounds, 3 steals, and we see a floater and a key, and then a beautiful finger roll on the fast break. He runs the lane so very well, and then the rebound dunk, the leading rebounder in the Mountain West Conference. We're going to see a step-back 3-point shot. Mike Moser does it all, and he did it all for the Rebels in the last 10 minutes of that first half.
You see 6 for 14 for the entirety of the first half, and those 20 minutes started 3 for 10, finished 3 for 4. Those 4 rebounds also a team high for the man leading this team in scoring and rebounding. It was 11-5 San Diego State early in that first half. It's now 37-29 UNLV as we get ready to start the second half. Leading scorers, no surprise to see Jamal Franklin on top with 10 for the Aztecs. Not only leads this team, but also leads the conference in scoring.
Well, he was 4 of 8 from the field, took good shots, and he really was the main guy for San Diego State as he has been in league play.
Jay Stenback misfires. Bryce Masamba with a strong rebound and 2.
In that first half, San Diego State did not have an offensive rebound. That one by Masamba was the 5th in this ball game for UNLV. Those are things that make a difference when you're not shooting it unbelievably well. Fast break points, rebounds, turnovers, they all make a difference.
James Rehan, finger roll off the glass, the touch. 39-31 UNLV. Belfield to Masamba. Masamba with a left hand. Tim Shelton with the defense. Masamba up again. And he's off to a strong start here in the second half. The lead now for UNLV is 10.
2 offensive boards in the first minute here for Bryce Masamba. He's their power man in the middle. When they have him in, they can go to that low post game, a good offensive rebounder, a lot of size from Masamba at 6'10" and 245 pounds.
First double-digit lead for UNLV. Rehan to Shelton. Shelton, nice give to Jamal Franklin, and man, did he hit the ground hard. Only player in the conference to be in the top 3 in scoring and rebounding, taken down to the court, coming right down on that left shoulder.
And Masamba trying to come off and help and trying to get to the basketball, got the wrist. And Jamal Franklin was off balance, leaning to the back, and wow, he hit the floor really hard. And he's up now, and he's walking. Boy, you hate to see that. We'll take a look at it again at full speed. Masamba trying to come help, trying to get ball, gets wrist.
But the way he went down, you see shoulders and collarbones go that way, so it's good to see him up so early. And we saw he and Bryce Masamba had a handshake and a hug.
And Masamba immediately went, to him as soon as he realized, wow, I got more arm than I thought I did on that one. And Franklin was in a compromising position in the air, leaning backward, trying to make that shot. Glad to see that he's okay. He's been such a huge part of what San Diego State has done. And the officials are going to look and see. They'll determine whether just a routine foul or if they want to go to a flagrant 1 foul. I would not be surprised to see this be a flagrant 1.
Well, Jamal Franklin went down late in the first game, was in an ankle injury, and came back.
Yeah, and it was late in the second half when he went down, went into the crowd, had an ankle injury, went to the bench, only sat for a very short period and came out and made the game winner. And he has been so good, especially since conference play has started. 18 points, 9.3 rebounds a game. Boy, and you see him come down really hard on that left side.
Jamal Franklin, 7 double-doubles in his last 10 games. Really didn't have any insight into how good he'd be this year when you watched him last year. Only averaged 2 points and 1 rebound per game.
And these guys are going to have discussion because, I mean, they could go with a flagrant 2 if they want to go with a flagrant 2, which is not only the free throws, but the player have the option to eject the player as well. And so I know there's a lot of discussion about what they want to go with this foul.
How did you see it? Flagrant or no?
To me, it's a flagrant 1. To me, I will go with a flagrant 1, but this is a terrific crew that we have here. Very, very experienced crew. And they certainly know better how to determine that than I do.
So Dave Rice and Steve Fisher talking with the officials right at the half-court line. 18:32 left. UNLV enjoying its largest lead of the game at 10 points. Under review, the foul from Bryce Masamba delivered to Jamal Franklin.
And they're not even going to go with flagrant. And I think if you see Masamba, when he gets a hold, he pulls away. He pulls away at the last second and doesn't actually pull the player down. And as I mentioned, these guys are much better at determining that than I am. And I think what made it look worse was the fact that Franklin was off balance and leaning backward to begin with. And so even a little bit of contact resulted in a bad ending to that. I think they took that into account.
Jamal Franklin improving in so many ways this season. Included on that list is free throw shooting. Last year only 52%, and this year it's 78%.
And that's always the jinx. That's always. And he's been unbelievable in conference play. He's been 90% from the free throw line in conference play.
Franklin connects on 1 out of 2 free throws. Rebel lead now 9.
And we get a report from the San Diego State locker room at halftime, and they talked a lot about doing a better job on their ball screens, but a lot of focus on transition defense. UNLV had 10 fast break points in that first half.
Anthony Marshall to Bryce Masamba. He has 6 points in the second half, and UNLV has an 11-point lead.
And UNLV comes right out, and their strategy, obviously, hey, let's get this thing down in the paint. Let's pound it into Masamba a little bit, and he's had a little bit of an advantage over Garrett Green inside there.
Chase Tapley almost had that one stolen by Mike Moser. Tapley with 6 points in the first half.
And Moser leads this UNLV team in steals. And just another part of his game that you take for granted. He's very good defensively.
Xavier Thames barely got the rim. Jamal Franklin up and fouled by Anthony Marshall.
Franklin is taking a beating. He really is that time. And Anthony Marshall went right over. Hard foul. That was a good foul. But the miss here, and it was short. I'm amazed that Franklin was able to track that without it hitting the rim. A A little forehead contact that time, but certainly Anthony Marshall going for the basketball on that one.
Well, I hexed him on his free throws last time here, Blaine, okay? So made that one.
The last two are right in the bottom of the net, as he has been during
How about I compliment his rebounding?
Yeah, and then he'll be fine.
Last year, 1.9. This year, up to 5.3. That's the sixth best improvement in that category in the nation, and now he makes 2.
There's no hexing or jinxing rebounding. It's just free throws.
Rebel lead stays at 9. Or cut back to 9. 17:33 left. Anthony Marshall to the lane and back out to Belfield. Nice pass to Masamba. He has 8 points in the second half. The lead once again is 11.
And UNLV committed now. 4 straight times down the floor to go inside with the basketball, and it's been effective.
And with San Diego State's biggest post player in there, in Derek Green. It was 37-29 at halftime. It's now 45-34. Xavier Thames to the hoop. Stand back with the block. Comes up with it. And here come the Rebels. Oscar Belfield thought about it. So did Mike Moser. Moser to the ground.
And this game, very different start in the second half. It's been a half-court ball game.
Marshall to the hole. Mike Moser. Look at the rebound and the flick pass to Chase Standback. James Rahan flicks it to Tapley. Tapley back to Rahan to Garrett Green up and in.
Touch pass from Rahan. Beautiful job that time.
UNLV strong start to the second half, leading by 9. UNLV leads 45-36. Bryce Masamba, all 8 of UNLV's second half points so far.
Well, he had 2 at the half and 1 rebound, and he came out with a passion here in the second half. UNLV determined to get it inside. Masamba going after the offensive glass. His teammates looking for him. He's moving without the basketball, getting to good spots, and his teammates are rewarding him for his work away from the ball.
Apparently, Bryce enjoys playing against San Diego State at home this season, or today, 5 for 6. And last year, at home against the Aztecs, he was 5 for 5, so he's made 10 of his last 11 shots at home against San Diego State.
And he shoots an amazing percentage, 65% from the field. And he's not a high-volume shooter. He just takes shots when he's in great position. And here in the second half, he's been in great position a lot, working really hard without the basketball.
Setting the pick for Anthony Marshall. Marshall kicking it out to Oscar Belfield for 3. And the rebound to Sean Stevens. This is Jamal Franklin. James Rahan. Pull up fadeaway. Air ball. Never know who you're going to see here in Las Vegas here. Flavor Flav. I saw him at the Super Bowl giving Tom Coughlin a hug. UNLV by 9. Rebels led by 8 at halftime. UNLV now on top by 9. 15:42 left. The NHL is on the NBC Sports Network. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock Eastern, the Flyers head to Hockeytown to battle the Red Wings. Then on Wednesday night hockey, it's Bruins Canadiens. It's the NHL on the all-new NBC Sports Network. It's Mountain West Conference basketball at its finest here inside the Thomas and Mack Center. Over 18,500. Flavor Flav in all forms and fashions here today, Blaine. Steve Fisher wants his team to get back in this one, trailing by 9. Anthony Marshall working the one-on-one, the spin move and give to Bryce Masamba.
Who is this guy? Who is this Bryce Masamba guy? He is playing out of his mind in this ball game, and UNLV has found, a hot hand inside, and they're just feeding Masamba.
Anthony Marshall with the excellent give. Masamba now with 10 points in the second half, 12 for the game. Jamal Franklin with the crossover. Mike Moser comes up with it. Justin Hawkins back to Moser. UNLV with its biggest lead at 13.
And Mosier with another steal. And he gets out on the floor. I love the fact that he gave the ball up. You can run faster without the ball, so he gives the ball up to a guard, gets up the floor and runs the lane, and then he gets the basketball back, the reward for the steal and running that lane.
15 points today, the only player in the Mountain West Conference in the top 5 in scoring, rebounding, field goal percentage, and steals. Chase Tapley thinking about firing from 3, and it's in. The lead back to 10.
And Tapley, who's been very quiet in this ball game, comes up with a big shot. Beautiful jumper that time.
Chase Tapley stops the bleeding with a 3. Here's Anthony Marshall slicing to the hoop, inside to Mosier. To Sean Stevens. To Jamal Franklin. Franklin up and in. 5 unanswered points for San Diego State. The lead cut to 8. Marshall to Belfield. UNLV leads by 10.
Now the pace quickening again here. We started this second half with a lot of half-court game. That first half was just up and down the floor. 10 fast break points for UNLV in that first half. And this game seems to be quickening in terms of the pace.
Chase Tapley loses it inside. Anthony Marshall has it. Wants Justin Hawkins. Oscar Belfield. Marshall guarded by Thames. And the quick spin, and that drew the foul on Xavier Thames, the Washington State transfer. 2 fouls now on Thames.
And Anthony Marshall is such a strong athlete, maybe underrated in his ability to post up. When you think about him out in the open floor, his ability to finish and handle the ball and get to the rim off the dribble, but he is a very good post-up player.
There's a reach-in foul over the back. Chase Tapley, he has 3.
And they go right back to Anthony Marshall on the post-up against Chase Tapley. He's the inbounder, and he immediately turned and sealed off on the low block.
Chase Stanback to Oscar Belfield. Just inside the line, that's for 2. And it pushes the Rebel lead to 12. Back and forth game in the first half. UNLV owning it in the second half. Xavier Thames with a strong move and a foul. Every time UNLV, it appears they're going to run away with it. The Aztecs keeping it as close as they can.
And Thames did a good job that time of running his man off the screen. Steve Fisher talked to his team about that at length during halftime and said, hey, that initial ball screen has to be better, and it's on the guys with the basketball to go closer to that screen so there's contact. That time, Thames did a beautiful job, and that's what allowed him to get to the rim. I mean, take a look at this. You've got to come close. So he sets him up, starting to his left. See how he gets a little piece there, and now he's one-on-one on the big guy. He's got quickness on Musambi. He's able to pick off Oscar Belfield, who was covering him there, and that was a point of emphasis at halftime for San Diego State.
Thames, the San Diego State team leader in assists with 4.6. That's good for 4th best in the Mountain West Conference, showing he can also take it to the hole there. 7 points today, and also 5 rebounds.
And Xavier Thames, who played at Washington State, he started 4 games as a freshman at Washington State, has a significant contributor, averages 4.6 points a game. And when he was coming out of high school, Pleasant Grove High School there in Sacramento, he was rated as one of the top 20 point guards in all of the United States. And he's definitely found a home. He's been a terrific replacement for DJ Gay and running this offense for Steve Fisher in San Diego State.
And please don't tell him that I'm letting everybody know he's 80% from the line, and he's made 40 of his last 43.
If he misses this, then you are the ultimate hex man.
41 of his last 44.
Okay, there you go.
Just sharing some good information. 53-44, UNLV leading as we approach the 13-minute mark. Reggie Smith in the game and with the ball. Reggie Smith with the 3. Sean Stevens got his hands on it. Back to UNLV. This is Oscar Belfield. Wide open three. Nothing but net. LeBradford Franklin now working the point for San Diego State. 18,500 into it. Deshaun Stevens with a nice putback. UNLV lead now at 10. Chase Stanback going one-on-one. Inside, and another rebound for Deshaun Stevens. LeBradford Franklin. Jamal Franklin to the San Diego State bench, and it'll be UNLV basketball. Rebels got off to a strong start in the second half, and that lead stays in double digits. It's 56-46. Dave Rice's UNLV running Rebels on top by 10, 56-46. UNLV coming into this one 14th ranked at 21-4. San Diego State number 1 in the Mountain West Conference and 13th overall. The Aztecs with 6 consecutive wins and 9 of the last 10 against UNLV. If UNLV hangs on to win, there'll be a tie atop the Mountain West Conference, and San Diego State wanting to push that lead to 2.
Well, and San Diego State has given UNLV problems, Paul, because they're one of the more long, athletic teams that UNLV faces. UNLV usually has the advantage in athleticism against almost every team they play. And over the last couple of years, San Diego State's been able to match that athleticism, and it's bothered UNLV.
Oscar Belfield and Mike Moser leading scorers for UNLV, 15 points apiece. Bryce Masumba also with 10 in this second half. Moser one-on-one, up and in. 17 points for UNLV's leading scorer. LeBradford Franklin, guarded by Reggie Smith. Inside to Deshaun Stevens. Mike Moser with another steal. Reggie Smith, tough shot inside. Tim Shelton with a rebound. Haven't forced too many shots today. That was a force.
Yeah, that definitely was. And they have taken good shots. A lot of their shots have been assisted.
LeBradford Franklin with a left hand. Ball on the end line. It'll go back to UNLV.
Stevens got the rebound, but he had that toe on the end line. And San Diego State, they're shooting the ball fine. I mean, they're making shots. It's the fact that there have been a few too many turnovers for the Aztecs and some second chance opportunities on the offensive end with offensive boards for UNLV that have been the difference in this one.
Yeah, both teams at 50% here in the second half. Shooting, and there's Mike Moser feeling it off the back iron. Reggie Smith impressively with the offensive board.
That's 9 offensive rebounds now for this Rebel team.
Anthony Marshall. Moser.
Make it 10.
Another rebound.
Yeah, make it 10.
That one to Quintrell Thomas. This is Reggie Smith for 3. San Diego State trailing by 12 gets it back. The Rebels known for defense and pushing the ball up the court and pressing me here today, working that offensive glass. Approaching the halfway mark here, the second half. UNLV leading by 12. Garrett Green inside, guarded by Quintrell Thomas. Blocks by Quintrell Thomas. Anthony Marshall keeps it himself. Nice block by Jamal Franklin.
Well, both of these teams, Paul, can really defend. It is fun to watch teams as athletic as these that understand how important defense is. We saw blocks on both ends of the court that time. And hustle plays in transition defense.
And that was a block by Xavier Thames, not Jamal Franklin.
When you see 6 blocks now for UNLV, and they've turned a number of those blocks into fast break points on the other end.
Reggie Smith couldn't hang on. James Rahan almost with the steal. UNLV hangs on. 27 seconds left on the shot clock.
I tell you, UNLV has done an amazing job at taking care of the basketball. Dave Rice told us that that would be a key for them, is to manage that basketball, not turn it over in transition.
They had 14 in the loss at San Diego State in January. Only 4 turnovers here today so far. Anthony Marshall working one-on-one. San Diego State defense holds. Rebound to Tim Shelton. Here comes LaBradford Franklin. Tim Shelton back to the basket, spinning up, and a block by Mike Moser. Shelton got it back, went strong up again, and he was fouled by Quintrell Thomas. He'll go to the line for 2.
You go back to that, what you were just talking about in terms of turnovers, 4 turnovers. When you're playing an up-tempo game against a team with good, solid defenders like San Diego State, if you can keep your turnovers to under 12, you've done a heck of a job. So the fact that they have 4 at this point in the ball game is above and beyond.
Tim Shelton, 1 for 1 on this trip to the line. His team trailing by 11. Mike Moser with a rebound. Rebels leading 58-47. Oscar Belfield. Quintrell Thomas blocked Garrett Green. Chase Tapley with it now. Rayhan had Garrett Green inside, got it there a little late, and here comes Anthony Marshall. Belfield back to Marshall, thought about the 3, kicks it out. This is Justin Hawkins. Garrett Green with the board.
UNLV now 9 steals in this ball game. That's another hidden stat that's making a big difference.
Xavier Thames kicking it out to Chase Tapley. In and out, and then back in again.
He is money.
58-50.
Whenever you can break down a defense with penetration, there's going to be somebody open on the outside, and Thames doing a good job of kicking it back to Tapley. And this is what San Diego State needs to do. They need to play better defense, and then they need to take care of the basketball. Penetrate. Now you got a guy wide open. Thames draws 2 defenders and kicks it back to a wide open Chase Tapley. Feet set in a great shooting position, and he knocks it down.
Chase Tapley shooting 43% beyond the arc coming into this game, knocking down that 3, and an excellent assist. Good awareness there, and also good athleticism by Xavier Thames, the man who leads San Diego State in assists.
And for Steve Fisher, he's so level. I've watched him over the years, and doesn't get too excited when they're way up, doesn't panic when they're way down, and that carries over to his team. It's a team that's not, I can tell you right now, it's not a team that's worried right now. Look at RPI rankings by conference. How tough is this Mountain West Conference this season? Well, the number 5 team in terms of RPI, they're ahead of the ACC, ahead of the A10, and way ahead of the Pac-12. And this certainly is a 3-bid conference. Right now, if the season ended, I would think you would have San Diego State, UNLV, and New Mexico in, and Colorado State with a possibility. Their strength of schedule is high enough to maybe put them in. And I think by the end of this season, we may see that this is a 4-bid league again.
How close do you think New Mexico is to UNLV and San Diego State, or do you believe that's the best of the conference?
I think that all 3. I think it's a toss-up between those 3 right now, because New Mexico struggled with some health issues back early in the season. They lost early in the conference season. They're at full strength right now, and they're playing their best basketball of the season. So it's a toss-up. Those 3 teams, you put them all on a neutral court, and I don't know who wins.
New Mexico winning at home today on their own court against Wyoming, and that is Oscar Belfield, and it's a rebound by Xavier Thames. Active afternoon for Xavier Thames. Both ends of the court. James Rayhan has been quiet. Jamal Franklin. I believe Moser got a piece of that one. Marshall looking inside to Moser, knocked out of bounds by James Rayhan. San Diego State Aztecs currently leading the Mountain West Conference, hanging around. They only trail by 8. Not a more versatile talent than Terry Gannon.
That's for sure.
Former point guard for North Carolina State. Enjoy watching him do anything. Television, and he appears to be able to do anything.
And that rugby event here in Las Vegas, USA Sevens, teams from all over the world, from New Zealand to Australia to all points from there, and it has gained in popularity big time. They'll have a full house.
Oscar Belfield, Chase Stambach, 2 more, UNLV.
My shot's really starting to fall for the Rebels.
Mike Moser, the leading scorer for UNLV for the season. Also for this game, he has 17. And that UNLV lead back to double digits at 60-50. Xavier Thames guarded by Mike Moser. Moser almost with another steal. Chase Tapley with Anthony Marshall in his face. That is a tough 3.
Even last year when Chase Tapley was the kind of the 5th option with those 4 great seniors, when his team needed a big shot, they put the ball in his hands. And he senses that this Aztec basketball teams need some big shots, and he's taken a couple of them here in the second half.
Anthony Marshall, the spin move, was going to give it to Bryce Masumba and fouled by Chase Tapley.
Here he just has a great sense of when his team needs a 3, when he needs the drive, and that's a contested shot. And he goes right up over the top and hits the bottom of the net with it. It's a guy that wants the ball in his hands in the clutch times of a ball game.
Aztec shooting well at 49%. Xavier Thames with an impressive steal of Oscar Belfield. Kicks it out to Jamal Franklin. Thought about that 3. Back to Thames. Chase Tapley showing some patience. One-on-one there. Had a foul before. Jamal Franklin took it to the hoop. On Mike Moser.
One of the things that both of these teams possess is plenty of perimeter players that can attack off the dribble. Take it at you, attack, and make you react defensively. And Franklin is really good with that, along with Tapley. You see him attack here.
Chase Tapley. We saw him knock down a 3, a contested 3 moments ago. Now takes it to the hoop strong, and San Diego State only trails by 5. Anthony Marshall inside, back out to Moser. This is Oscar Belfield. Inside to Masumba. 10 points in this half. 5 out of 6 shooting. And a nice give to Mike Moser. Chase Tapley with the miss, the offensive rebound, and the putback. And after a dunk by Moser and an impressive sequence by Tapley, it is once again 5 points UNLV.
And that was a huge answer for San Diego State, because that unselfish play by Masumba and the throwdown by Moser brought this crowd right back into it, and Tapley immediately silences him. San Diego State didn't even hesitate, took the ball out of bounds and tried to get early offense.
The other 22 on the court, that's Chase Stambach. He's short. Jamal Franklin with a rebound, and Chase Tapley has the last 10 points for San Diego State. Jamal Franklin has a lane, and it's blocked by Moser. Oscar Belfield back to Moser inside. Jamal Franklin with the block and a foul.
We are just seeing one athletic play after another. Heads up play by Belfield to find Moser, and then he goes, well, I don't know. I don't know.
Boy, that's about as clean as it could be.
I don't know about that one, and you know, he may have gotten a little hand there. I love the effort by Franklin to get back down the court and to even be part of that. He was under the bucket on his offensive end and got down to get a piece of that ball. And he's out at half court talking to Randy McCall right now going, man, I thought I got that.
Anthony Marshall with 26 points back on January 14th in the Rebel loss at San Diego State. .5:16 left. His Rebels leading by 5. Lead that's been in double digits for UNLV for much of the second half. Moser almost had the rebound. Garrett Green has it, and trailing only by 5 as we approach the 5-minute mark. Here comes San Diego State. Aztecs have methodically worked that lead down from 12 to 10 to 8, and now it's only 62-57.
Well, and I wonder if we will get the kind of finish we had in that first meeting, because it was amazing. Down in BA House Arena, the environment couldn't have been better. Jamal Franklin with a terrific game. Rayhan playing out of his mind. We saw Franklin get hurt on this play, goes to the bench with an ankle injury. About a minute later, he comes back into the game, and all he does, with 0.3 seconds left in the game, he knocks down the game winner in the lane. San Diego State 69-67 in BA House Arena. What a game it was. And this one, it could be just like that, Paul.
And what gets a little lost in that impressive victory to start the Mountain West Conference play, the 2-point winner over UNLV, they went to the pit a few days later and won at New Mexico 75-70.
This San Diego State team, very worthy of that 13 ranking in the country, and I think they're surprised. That's why I think Steve Fisher's done such a terrific job. I mean, when you lose the guys that they lost, you don't lose Kawhi Leonard and Billy White and Malcolm Thomas and DJ Gay off of a team and come back and be ranked in the top 15 again. He's just done a terrific job.
Garrett Green inside. UNLV leads only by 3.
What a finish.
James Rayhan with it. Xavier Thames to Chase Tapley. That would have tied it. Here comes Mike Moser. Excellent hustle by Chase Tapley, and the steal. Aztecs refusing to go away. Xavier Thames with it at 62-59.
And that steal will go to Thames, but Tapley deserves the credit. It was an assisted steal. We'll call it that.
Chase Tapley to Garrett Green. Block against UNLV.
Well, Steve Fisher at halftime talked to these guys about doing a better job getting that first screen. This is the one, pick and roll, old school, and Green with the throw down. And then here comes Tapley again, the high ball screen to Green again. And this time, there's a blocking foul, and Green is going to go to the free throw line. But running that two-man game, the high ball screen, and it's the guys with the basketball, Tapley and Thames, that are doing a better job now. They're taking their man closer to that screen and creating switch situations or help situations for the defense.
Garrett Green in his first and what will be his only season at San Diego State. Spent the past 3 years at LSU, played in 87 games, averaging 3 points and 3 rebounds. And coming into this one, averaging 6 points. Has the last 3 points for San Diego State. And the Aztecs trail by 2. Bryce Masamba setting the pick. And just barely got it back. He has 10 points, all coming early in this second half. This is Oscar Belfield. Garrett Green comes down with it to Jamal Franklin. Franklin for 3. Would have put San Diego State on top. UNLV back with it, leading by 2.
Well, and you hate to not have Franklin shoot that shot, but since he was leading the break, he didn't have any rebounders in position. He was the first man down the court and shot a 3. So that was either a make or give it back to UNLV play.
Mike Moser had an advantage inside, guarded by Xavier Thames. And we've got ourselves a ball game in a battle for the top of the Mountain West Conference. UNLV leads by 2. Now only leading 62-60, and just moments ago the Rebels led by 12. Now that lead is cut to 2.
Well, and I think for UNLV, there may be a little anxiety right now, Paul. This is a team that's had their number in recent years, and so they've got to make sure they take good shots, that they're patient offensively, and they got to get back to that disruptive defense that was creating some fast break opportunities. And for San Diego State, they need to keep working that high ball screen. They've been doing a great job with the pick and roll.
Bryce Masamba with it out top. That's not where he is most comfortable with it. Oscar Belfield now has it as we approach the 3-minute mark. Rebels on top by 2. Belfield with the pull-up. Jamal Franklin with the board. UNLV led by 8 at halftime, extended that lead to 12. Aztecs have fought their way back. Chase Tapley gets it back to James Rahan. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Xavier Thames had nothing else to do with it, and Mike Moser with a rebound.
Smart play that time by Moser. He realized he was the first guy down with a break. He didn't have numbers, so he pulled it back out and allowed his team to set up a half-court set.
Rebels have been shut out since the 6-minute mark. No field goals in almost 4 minutes.
Now, to win games on the road, you have to play defense. And San Diego State really is clamped down the stretch.
And drawing the charge again, Tim Shelton, his second of the game, his 25th of the season.
Boy, who else? Tim Shelton in help defense. And notice how he steps out in front of the restricted zone under the basket, made sure his feet were out there so that he could take that charge.
Inside of 2 minutes now with that lead remaining at 2 for UNLV. Steve Fisher wants a timeout. 1:48 left. UNLV leading here at home 62-60. Mountain West Conference basketball is on the NBC Sports Network. Next Saturday at 4 o'clock, the Aztecs will look to stay atop the Mountain West when they take on the Air Force Falcons. San Diego State Air Force next Saturday at 4 on the all-new NBC Sports Network. Right now, San Diego State leading the Mountain West Conference by 1 game over UNLV and at New Mexico.
And if they can get a win here on this court, it really puts them in the driver's seat. Timeout situation now. 3 for the Rebels, 1 left for San Diego State. San Diego State with 5 team fouls. They have to have 2 more fouls before they would put UNLV in the bonus. That may come into play. If they stay behind, they may want to foul. So you don't mind at this point having 17 fouls. I think for UNLV, they've got to be aggressive defensively. In San Diego State, Chase Tapley is the guy that you can be very confident with and look for either Tapley or Jamal Franklin to attack, to try to break that defense down and get to the rim or kick to an open player on the outside. You look at the conference standings, and with San Diego State, that 1-game lead, as you mentioned, this is a huge game in terms of the conference and the impact it will have on that seeding for the Mountain West Conference Tournament, which will be right back here in the Thomas and Mack.
Yeah, right now, as you saw, just a half-game lead for San Diego State. Won't stay that way for long. It'll change one way or the other, as New Mexico already with a victory in the books today against Wyoming.
Here comes the high ball screen again.
Mike Moser guarding Xavier Thames. Thames got him on the dribble. Kicks it out to Chase Tapley. And San Diego State leads by 1.
And who else? Who else but Chase Tapley? He wants that shot. He looks for that shot, and his teammates want the ball in his hand in that situation.
Oscar Belfield has the ball for UNLV. Inside to Masamba. Guarded by Tim Shelton. Masamba back out to Marshall for 3. Jamal Franklin inside of 1 minute and a 1-point lead for the Aztecs.
And look for the same thing again. Thames made a great decision on where to go with the ball the last time off of the ball screen.
Mike Moser knocked it free. Anthony Marshall has it. Accelerates to the hole. Finger roll. UNLV by 1. I know you called that first game that came down to the buzzer. Did you really think it would be as good the second time?
I hoped I thought it would, but these teams are delivering as expected. Let's look at the last couple of baskets. Chase Tapley, so clutch, not just this year, but last year. Thames with a good decision, finds Tapley with his feet set on the three-point line. Bam, he knocks it down. And then the turnover. And who else? Mike Moser with those great quick hands. And what a move in the open court to avoid contact by Anthony Marshall.
Timeouts remaining, 1 for San Diego State, 2 for UNLV. And as we see Dave Rice address his team, UNLV leading by 1:37.6 seconds left. He told me yesterday what he admires the most about San Diego State is how gritty they are. By that, they always win the close games. And I don't think he meant he wanted this one to be quite this close.
And that's been the case. They're well coached. They're unflappable. Hey, look how calm that huddle is right now for San Diego State. You know, Steve Fisher in there, and he's raising his voice to make a point, but everybody's calm in there. For UNLV, they're going to have to defend that high ball screen again. And you better find the shooters on the outside. For San Diego State, they can't afford to take the last shot. When you're down, you've got to take a shot with enough time to get an offensive rebound if you need it. So they'll take the first good shot that they can find. Don't expect them to run it down.
Chase Tapley shooting it very well behind the stripe today. Coming into this one, the last 3 games struggling. Only 3 of his last 15. Man, as he turned it around in a huge game here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, if you're San Diego State, you go down, you run that high ball screen, and you get whatever you can whenever you can get it.
2-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Jamal Franklin to the hole, stripped. And San Diego State will keep it.
That looked a little bit like where he got the basketball for his game winner. This time the strip down low and the ball knocked out of bounds. Will go back over to San Diego State. And now's the time to run the best offensive or out of bounds play that you have. Well, it was a good call. Chase Stanback with the ball, knocked out of bounds, did not go off Jamal Franklin, so the ball stays with the Aztecs.
21 seconds left on the game clock and 19 left on the shot clock. We'll have a timeout in play. Timeout taken by UNLV.
Well, Chase Tapley has been the man here in the second half. We featured him in our open because he's the kind of guy that when the game's on the line, everyone on his team wants him to take the shot. And he has been huge in this second half. Attacking the basket, knocking down threes, and none more important than this one. That gave his team the lead momentarily before Anthony Marshall went down with an answer in the open court.
And we've really seen him do it all, Blaine. We've seen him hit the big uncontested three, a three with defenders in his face, the hustle steal at the other end of the court. I remember at a point when San Diego State was coming back, he kind of took a crazy shot, but got his own rebound and put it right back.
He has been really good, and he's been a leader in this ball game, especially here in the second half. A rather quiet first half, but a big-time second half for Chase Tapley.
San Diego State out of timeouts. Chase Tapley with 22 points. Coming into this game, the #2 scorer in the Mountain West Conference. Jamal Franklin with it.
You got to defend without fouling.
Chase Stanback with the steal. Excellent piece of defense by Chase Stanback.
So back-to-back plays, Stanback gets a piece of the basketball using those quick hands. I got the top of the basketball there. He did just on the previous play. The ball went out of bounds. And we'll take another look at that one. And UNLV with the basketball. Tim Shelton, smart player. He knew that he immediately needed to foul with 13.7 left. And a lot of time left in this ball game. 13.7 seconds. You're going to win a big-time game on your home floor down the stretch. You better make free throws. And these are some important free throws coming up right now.
Steve Fisher there with his team trailing by 13.7 seconds remaining. A lot of little numbers go into the final score, but how about UNLV with 12 steals already? A huge one right there by Chase Stanback.
Yeah, it's been amazing. The most impressive thing to me in this ball game about Mike Moser has not been his ability to run the floor, handle the ball, shoot. It's been his defense. He has quick hands, and he can defend out on the perimeter, and he's made a difference in this ball game on the defensive end. Now Chase Stanback with his quick hands has had 2 good plays here down the stretch as well.
And how about the shooting confidence of Mike Moser? Starting out 3 for 10, didn't let it get to him. His confidence, his psyche, it all coming back to lead this team in scoring after a rough start.
Yeah, he's been really, really good. And for San Diego State, wow, you really have to credit Chase Tapley with a strong finish to this ball game to get this thing close. He's been really good in this second half. Oh, and you know what? We forgot, remember we talked earlier that San Diego State only had 5 team fouls. My bad. That was only the 16th foul. They're not going to put UNLV on the line right now.
Moser barely gets it into Stanback. And he's fouled.
And now it will be the bonus. And so some additional time. And that's the case where you almost wish you had 17 fouls at that point. They alertly fouled immediately after they couldn't get the steal on the inbounds play. And Stanback is a guy that is a very good free throw shooter. Dave Rice would rather have him on that line than anybody else. 86.5% this season.
0 for 0 today, but as you pointed out, a little better than 86%. 45 out of 52 coming into this game. That one's long, and that's a rebound for Justin Hawkins.
And the happiest guy in the building right now for Justin Hawkins is Chase Stanback, because he had a chance to put his team up by 3 and misses the front end of a 1-and-1, and Hawkins sneaks in and gets that offensive board. And as I mentioned, this game with 10 seconds, this is an eternity, because San Diego State will still have an opportunity. But with no timeouts left, they've got to play smart.
Hawkins 67% from the line. Rebels by 2.
With this one, he can ensure that the worst thing that can happen is that San Diego State can come down and tie it with a 3-point shot. This is a big free throw right here. And for San Diego State, they know that they've got to get the basketball and push it. They do not have a timeout.
Justin Hawkins only 1 for 2. 65-63, 5 seconds remaining. This is Xavier Thames. And that's Justin Hawkins with the steal and the ball game to UNLV. Hangs on to win 65-63. They are tied now atop the Mountain West Conference with San Diego State. Justin Hawkins, after making 1 of 2 free throws. Xavier Thames bringing it up. There's the ball, and here's Justin Hawkins to seal it for UNLV. He had been quiet recently, only 2 points at Wyoming. 4 games in a row in single digits. Not a big scoring effort today, but he was big in the end with the free throw. And then the ball at the end as the clock went to zeros. UNLV 65-63. Leading scorer for UNLV, Mike Moser. 19 points after starting out 3 out of 10. And for San Diego State, Chase Tapley, what an effort on both ends of the court by number 22 as he goes for 22 points. We've got a tie atop the Mountain West Conference after what we saw here today. We saw UNLV beat San Diego State 65-63. We're right back after this. What a ball game at the Thomas & Mack Center in Las Vegas. UNLV knocks off San Diego State 65-63. Here's Blaine Fowler with the winning head coach, Dave Rice.
Dave, congratulations. Just before we came back from the break, you said wow, what is it about these two teams when they get together that creates games like this?
It's an amazing deal. It's two teams that are unbelievably gritty, that both expect to win, make big plays down the stretch. We made nice runs, got the lead in a double digits, and they just kept coming back. And that's a credit to Coach Fisher and his staff, but we're so proud of our staff and our players. And we always hang our hat on defense. A lot of the time we talk about running rebels and pushing the ball, but it's always about defense when we're successful.
Well, you had two great stops down the stretch there that you had to get. Talk about that and how important it was.
Well, and Chase Stanbeck did an unbelievable job when they tried to post him up, and then Justin Hawkins made an unbelievable defensive play, but it's team defense. Mike Moser, the way we play, the way we switch out on the floor, and it was a collaborative effort. What a terrific win for us today.
And what about Anthony Marshall makes that big play in an athletic move in transition to get the lead back after Chase Tapley had made a big three?
And again, it starts with defense and then the way we're able to finish on the break and share the ball. The thing about it, we didn't shoot the ball quite as well as we normally do, but you look at our assist numbers, and our assist numbers were terrific. And we know we're playing well when we're assisting on baskets. And just can't say enough about this great crowd. I mean, there's so many student sections that are talked about, but how about our rebellion? How about our fans?
It was a terrific atmosphere, and thanks for spending a couple minutes with us, Dave. Terrific win. Congratulations.
Thanks so much. Got another tough one on Tuesday, but we're going to enjoy this for a little while.
All right, Dave. Thank you very much. Paul, back over to you.
Hey, Dave Rice yesterday complimenting the San Diego State Aztecs to me on their grittiness and their ability to win close games. You got to like the grit of the Rebels today, hanging on to win against San Diego State 65-63. Our final score, UNLV by 2. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock Eastern, NBC Sports Network brings you the NHL as the Flyers face off against the Red Wings. Mountain West Conference basketball action continues next Saturday with the San Diego State Aztecs traveling to Colorado Springs to meet Air Force at 4 o'clock Eastern. Three-way tie atop the Mountain West Conference now to UNLV, San Diego State, and New Mexico. For Blaine Fowler, I'm Paul Burmeister. Thanks for being with us.